You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Crisis After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Crisis After Show.
That music. I love it. Oh, I love it. Hey everyone, we are here at the AfterBuzz show for Crisis. We listened to all of your comments, and that means we decided to start AfterBuzz show. We are here for season 1, episode 4. We were supposed to stay together. I'm Stacy Ike, and I would love to introduce my fabulous co-host.
And I'm Courtney Tezeno. So great to be on the show, and we're gonna have a lot for you guys on Crisis this evening.
Yeah, we're starting it fresh, so there's a lot to catch up on. We're on episode 4 right now, which means that we have to catch you up on 1 through 3. So we've had a lot of discussions of what that's gonna look like.
A lot, yes.
I mean, if you guys don't know so far, Crisis is a crazy show that was filled with a group of teenagers?
Yeah, a group of brats. Like
yeah. We didn't mean to call them that, but
I know, but like a group of very privileged individuals that ended up being in a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah. So these kids were on their way to a field trip that was in New York City. And unfortunately, they did not make it that far. So they were kidnapped, and they have the most powerful parents. So this ended up being, like we said, a huge crisis. Whew. So, I mean, now we're on episode 4.
We're on episode 4
but up until then, I mean, there's been so much to talk about.
Yeah,
what's your first
I mean, first impression, it was super slow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that's how most shows are supposed to start off. But like, you know, we were kind of just getting to know like who these kids are, like why is this important?
I was bored at
Why
first,
do we even care that they're being kidnapped? But then when you're like, there's a president's kid getting kidnapped, and then like congressmen, stuff like that, you kind of see why it's such a big deal for everyone.
And then you find out Lance Gross is going to be the lead, and you're feeling it. So.
Lance Gross.
I mean, that was my first reaction.
That's the eye candy of the show.
So he's hits his first day on, you know, as a Secret Service agent, and you know his first day does not go well. He is protecting the president's son, which is why he had to follow them on their trip, and he gets shot by his partner. Yeah, his partner.
How shady.
Yeah, really terrible.
That was the worst first
Agent
day.
Hurst, the worst. We're not sure about trusting him, obviously.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot more about Agent Hurst and how he plays in this whole thing. But Agent Finley, again, worst day ever. So a lot of the first episode was really focused on his first day and like how he did things wrong, and you know he ended up helping a little boy, Antoine, get out of the situation. Yeah. And
like, I mean, she mentioned earlier when we were talking about Anton, because he's just a funny kid. Like, he's such a comic relief for such a sad situation. But I think him basically leaving was, you know, some hope. So once Agent Finley was able to rescue him, we thought, okay, that means that he can probably have the power to rescue all the other kids. Now we're still looking for that. He's doing a good job, but
yeah, but that pretty much, if Agent Finley hadn't saved this boy, there would be no crisis. Like we would have nothing to talk about, and all the kids would be kidnapped, and then poof, be gone. Like there's no show. So Anton really, again, is that comic relief for everybody, and kind of gives like that insight on what happened, because in the beginning, no one really is believing Agent Finley.
Yeah.
Like, they think like he's a complete joke, like you shouldn't even be on the FBI, like go back to being a cop.
Right.
So it really kind of like propelled the season for us.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
Yeah, so.
We also get to introduce, like, you know, learn about some of the parents, because of course this sad situation happened. So now we're being introduced to who Amber's parents are, which is Meg Fitch. So she's a super powerful woman in the city, and you know, her kid is under attack. So she's doing whatever she can to make sure that she gets her child back. We get to hear a little bit about the congressman, the senator, just all the important parents of these
that
children
run the nation.
Yeah, that run. Like yes,
they
exactly.
run everything. Like these people, they just have so much power. So one thing that we were talking about in like our recap was just pretty much how there's this great sister dynamic. So
great, is it great?
I think it's great for this show. Like it really gives like some color to it. So Agent Dunn is the FBI agent that's now going to be helping Lance Gross, or Agent Finley.
We're like calling him Lance.
We're like
Lance.
Oh, I love him though. So it's so hard. Great job, Lance. But Agent Dunn is the person who's going to now be a good partner for Finley.
Right.
And her sister Meg, who's a powerful individual whose daughter is Amber. A lot of names to keep up with, so we'll slow it down for you guys.
Yeah.
But Agent Dunn and Meg. Yeah, Agent Dunn and Meg have this interesting dynamic where they haven't even spoken to each other this whole time until the kids are kidnapped. So like that's a way to have a family reunion.
Yeah, exactly. I need your help. Hey, can you get on this FBI case? I mean, things have happened to our children in the city. And I remember when Agent Dunn was asked to get on the case, and they said, yeah, get in touch with the FBI. You have connections. And she said, like, I haven't spoken to my sister in years. So that was pretty terrible, because we find out years really is like over 16, it looks like, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. So, I mean, their dynamic kind of, and just to like wrap up the first episode, because we have a lot to talk about, we end up finding out that Meg and Agent Dunn have this weird relationship where now like they're trying to do everything for their kids, but we find out that Meg is actually not the mother of Amber.
Yeah, and like, Amber doesn't know, so we shouldn't tell her. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
But Agent Dunn is actually the mother of this child, and like now this whole theme of like, what would you do for your kid? Yeah. Like applies to her too.
Because she's a mom, and we didn't know that, so yeah, definitely.
So that was a great way to end the first episode.
Yeah.
And then we go over to, I guess we can kind of episode 2 and episode 3 kind of were very much along the theme of like, we're going to pick different parents to like manipulate. And then like the crisis happens. So we'll start touching on that.
Yeah. I mean, if we pretty much already started touching on Susie and, Agent Dunn and Meg's relationship. It's kind of weird because like we said, they haven't spoken in years. Susie, Agent Dunn, she's known this is her daughter, obviously, but she hasn't seen her daughter. She's never seen her daughter. That was what was really crazy. We find that out in episode 1 as well. She's never seen her daughter, and she's never really felt like she needed to be a mother until this situation. And so Meg, the theme of her looks like she's a very controlling person.
Yes.
And she likes to be on top. And so, the way Agent Dunn approaches her is, look, like, you can't control this. This is FBI. I'm handling this. But their relationship is affecting how the case is being, how it's running through.
They're having they're butting heads
a lot of conflict.
So instead of working together and working against this crazy force, which we haven't even touched on the crazy guy.
Yes, yeah.
And let's just go on that now. This guy is, we first see him on the field trip, and he's this girl named Beth Ann. He's her dad. So we think this is like an ordinary dad going on a field trip with everyone, and like in the first episode he's like is getting beat and like his finger gets cut off. I'm so stuck on this finger getting cut off. She really
is. I just can't.
Oh my gosh, like his finger gets cut off. And then we end up finding out like when he goes to the back and we think he's so tortured and like all this stuff is happening.
He is the mastermind.
He's the
mastermind.
That is crazy. Behind this sick crazy attack on these kids. So
that's Francis Gibb, by the way. That's the mastermind of this entire thing. He's the person running the entire show, which, like we said, is just, it's so ironic because he starts off in episode 1 as like a punk. He's a punk dad. His daughter doesn't want to talk to him, nothing. We find out he's the guy running this entire show. He has the upset nature or whatever against CSI or CIA.
Oh,
and
he's seeking revenge.
Right, he's seeking revenge.
Blood.
Exactly. And so he's running the show.
Yeah, so, and then we're going to go back into the episode 2 and 3. So this is kind of where the parents start getting used and like used, abused, all that.
Yeah.
Francis has pretty much like had this mastermind plan going this whole time. So he uses these powerful parents to, his whole reward for them is like, what would you do for your kids? And like, you'll get your child back if you do this for me. And like, it's just this crazy interlocking of different things that in the beginning, you don't even understand like how they all work together. But in the end, you realize like, wow, he used this person to get to this point.
Like you start seeing the connections between every parent and how they, even if they didn't know each other, like you said, they're also so powerful that they've probably worked together before, or they've crossed paths, or whatever the case is. And we see that a lot in episode 2 because, you know, we see that the White House chief of staff was
episode
used.
3.
Oh, episode 3, you're right. Gosh, so much has happened. So you guys have to catch up. So, you know, episode 2, the ambassador was used. And then episode 3, you know, chief White House of staff was used. And that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
like one of the most important ones. Like you're under the president.
Exactly,
like, oh my gosh. So when they used the chief of staff, like it just was the most grimy situation ever. Like first of all, the FBI is scrambling around like some rats.
Yeah.
Like they are trying so hard to get this case going, and it just seems like Francis is like a step ahead of them every time.
The kidnappers are very smart. They're not stupid. That's what I was telling you earlier. It makes me so sad that as smart as the FBI are, and as smart as they, you know, how they can look at the situation, like they're not winning because Francis, the kidnappers, they've planned this so far ahead, and the way that they are like, you know, basically trailing everything they do before they do it, it's making you feel like who's gonna win here?
No one. It feels like it honestly feels like Francis is gonna win at this point. It could definitely be a turn. I hope not, because he's so grimy. Like this man was such a punk in the beginning. I can't. And then the way he just came back and it's just like this crazy psychotic guy that's brilliant at the same time just makes me so mad. Like, let's not let every villain win.
Yeah, exactly.
So we go back to the White House chief of staff. He basically was being a puppet for his child and was taking like these phone calls. Like, it's just so much that happened. He was taking the phone call from Francis, who like has like this, like, you know, those deep voices they put on the phone, like, this is so and so you're talking to, puts on this fake voice so they don't know who he's talking to, and he basically sets him up on this mission where I can't, I'm like, oh gosh, you gotta help me.
To basically, you know, ruin the situation and get his kid back. Except, does it work? I'm not sure, because the general dies at the end. If you guys have been able to catch up on episode 3 yet, the general, you know, kills himself in this situation. He was tortured by a friend, the chief of staff, who was just, like he said, he was just literally trying to get his kid back. And the way he said it was so sad and desperate. You're like, oh my gosh, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, and that was the theme of that episode, which of course is followed in episode 4. But yeah, what would you do for your kid?
Yeah. I mean, this Francis kid has so much dirt on everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
That he, like,
exactly.
If you guys didn't know, the first person that killed himself had an earbud in his ear, and this is Francis talking to him, like taunting him about his past, and like, if you don't do this, if you don't do this, then your family's gonna know that you're not as you know, as credible as you thought you were, and you weren't really doing good for the country. Like, that is some crazy stuff.
like I said, he did his research. He's looked this up for how long, and he's been prepared. So that's why I'm nervous, like, who's gonna win in this situation. He's a step ahead of the FBI all the time. That's scary. So I mean, we can basically go into episode 4 now, because a lot of that theme's in. But before we do that, we have to make sure that you guys are catching up, right? This is AfterBuzz, so you gotta catch. There's a lot to catch up on. We know we're giving you all the details, but make sure you check us out on iTunes and AfterBuzzTV.com and subscribe, rate us, give us that 5 stars, and leave a comment. We love reading you guys' comments and seeing what you think about all the AfterBuzz shows. So we'd love to see what you think, especially about Crisis, because it's just starting out. So definitely check us out on iTunes and AfterBuzz TV. We also just got a new app, which we're super excited about. So that's available on iPhones and Androids. So make sure you download that. It's free for you to listen and watch, and we'd love for you to do that. Make sure you leave a comment.
All right, so we're gonna move it along to episode 4, which is like the big deal tonight.
Yes. We finally get to tonight. Yes.
Yeah, so episode 4 is kind of a whirlwind in itself. All right, where do we even start with this?
You know, we could look through the paper and freak, I think we should start with the parent puppets, because I love, you know, Courtney was like, look, I'm hell-bent on the fact they are puppets, because they are just being used, which is unfortunate, but they're being used to save their kids, and whatever the kidnapper, Francis, says goes. Yeah. I don't think there's been one parent that's actually said no, except kind of in this episode.
Yeah, and we'll get a little bit more into that. But no, these parents are truly puppets for this man. Like, they will do anything. Like, let's just start with, I think the main two people today were Mrs. Worth and Mr. Worth, and then Mr. and Mrs. Yarrow.
Yeah.
And these are the congressmen and senators, husband and wife.
Yes.
These are some these people.
High class.
High class,
Yeah.
intelligent. They do not need to be running around for this man like that. But when it comes to your children, you do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You do absolutely anything. So we start off and we see we start off with Mrs. Worth and her husband, and they basically open it up. The FBI opens up saying, like, if anyone calls you, let us know.
Yeah.
And these people already received a phone call where they're
From Francis. Yeah.
They received the phone call from Francis basically saying, like, this is what I need you to do if you want to see your child.
Yeah.
And so when they get to this FBI meeting and they're like, everyone in here is going to be under investigation. If anyone calls you, let us know. They were kind of like, ooh.
We kind of already answered the call.
Yeah.
And we kind of already decided to do it. So,
yeah, so they're kind of like, it seems like the parents are kind of working against the FBI. Like the FBI is trying so hard to make sure that these people get back to their children.
But they basically just don't trust them because they think that either they're not working as fast enough because, you know, it's their kids. So they don't think that they have a personal tie.
Oh, and they're used to things going their way.
Exactly.
That's the thing with them. They're used to everything going their way. And so now when they're like out of control, they don't have the control, they're going out of control.
Yeah.
So, with Mr. and Mrs. Worth, they were set up to basically strap themselves with bombs.
Yeah, and it was really sad because it was interesting how, you know, we have this mom and dad dynamic. So you know how dads, especially because they have a daughter, so we know how much that you would fight for your daughter. We also know how much mom would fight for her daughter too. But it was just really crazy to see how the parent relationship played out because, you know, they were instructed to wear this bomb, and one parent, so the dad was supposed to wear the bomb and the mom was supposed to have the flash drive.
Yeah, and this flash drive was like, it was basically to send this video.
Yeah.
And you have to get 150 feet away from the CIA building in order for it to send. Yeah. So then go back to the
I mean, so basically just seeing how the dad could not handle it. And I think it was supposed to be honorable, but at the end of the day, like, it kind of didn't work out, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's another story. But, you know, he couldn't do it. Like, I don't know if he felt like he just couldn't betray his nation, or he didn't feel like he should, because I think it was more he just didn't want to die. You know, like I think he didn't want to die. Yeah, I think he didn't want to die.
And even though they told him that this is a fake bomb and like you're doing this for the greater mission of finding the children, this person is strapping a bomb on me and they're already conniving. Why would I put this bomb on me without actually knowing? Exactly. So I think that's where the dad was coming from, in that perspective of thinking like, oh my gosh, like I'm putting this on. Who knows if like what's going to happen? Someone else has already died trying to help their, you know, find their child. Yeah. So then mom steps into like this huge superhero mode, and she's just like, she gets like this glaze over her eyes, like where she can't see anything. All she sees is her daughter, her daughter. I have to save my daughter. Yeah. And she puts that vest on, and she just goes
she got
out.
So intense.
She got real intense.
She got so that's the one parent that we set up, and then we go to Mr. and Mrs. Yarrow. Oh yeah. Which was really sad to me because they literally just had the parent-teacher meeting. They said, look, can you not, like, listen to us? We have your backs. And right after the meeting, Miss Yarrow is in a locked room having an interview. And I wonder how the journalist got in there.
They had some inside. There had to be some outside contact that the FBI didn't know anything about, because this lady is in here on live TV.
She's on live TV doing this interview, already exposing everything about, you know, what's going on. And it's like, okay, but we just told you not to do that. And the thing with Miss Yarrow, which I was kind of confused about, because why didn't she didn't give up any information to FBI. And I thought that was kind of crazy. Like, you're the FBI, you should be able to get this information from her. Right. They didn't get anything. You know, they interviewed her. They were asking her where her husband is. She said she knew things.
Oh, but remember, she sent them off. She was she sent the FBI off.
Yeah, to run around. Yeah,
so she told them that the husband was somewhere in the building, just some anonymous place, like, oh, you know where he is. Yeah. But in order to kind of have like the FBI scrambling like
deviated,
like little rats scrambling like rats. She told them like, oh, my husband's somewhere in the building, we have to find him, making it seem like some drastic thing was going to happen. When this man is actually going out on this mission with the, I think it was with the flash drive, with the flash drive, and he's going out and he's trying to basically fulfill Francis's mission. So she completely sent them off, wasted their time again. Like, these parents are.
And I love how Agent Finley was like, you're wasting our time. him like, this is what we need to save your kids. Like, come on, what are you doing? And I thought that was pretty, like, I feel like then she should have cracked, but she still didn't. She was like, no, this is about my kid. I don't.
Yeah, no, everybody out for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything in it for themselves.
Yeah.
So, and the title is, you're supposed to help each other.
I was like, what is that again? That's actually pretty funny.
That is ironic.
Yeah.
But okay, so we were talking about, okay, let's go back to that flash drive. So the crazy heart-dropping thing that happens in this episode is yet another parent.
Yeah.
Bites the dust.
Yeah.
It was very unfortunate. And I think it was a little bit more unfortunate than the other death, because now the wife is feeling guilty.
Exactly. Because she said it in the cell when she was getting questioned. She basically said, like, I was trying to be brave for him. I was going to wear the bomb so that he can make sure he's okay. Like, I didn't care what was going on. And at the end, he still died. It was,
so
like, how did that even happen?
It's honestly Finley.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember
Finley
how
is the man. They were doubting him in the beginning. This man is putting his life, his sweat, blood, and tears into this case.
Good job, Lance Gross. You're great. Anyway,
you're absolutely great.
So, I mean, okay, we go, she says that happens, and then the cell phone, when they found the kids, because after the parents fulfilled what, Francis wanted them to do, they got their kids back, which I'm actually surprised he's actually he's actually doing what he said he'll do in terms of the kids. If the parent does what they want, he brings the kids. And I thought that wasn't going to happen, especially because it didn't happen with Meg. But
yeah, but see, in this one, the crazy dynamic that happens is that the husband didn't have to die. Mr. Worth did not have to die. That was all on the CIA.
Yeah.
There was basically like this crazy FBI versus CIA drama going on when the flash drive was found, and like the snipers are like aiming at the husband.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the phone drops, the evidence that they need drops. And the CIA is like, this is CIA property. You can't touch anything. Right. And Lance and them are like, you're really getting in the way of this investigation. Like, we need this. This is a part of FBI's case.
Yeah.
And so the husband ends up getting shot, honestly, on behalf of FBI and CIA feuding, and they can't figure it out in time.
Exactly.
So that was kind of unfortunate. Like,
it really, I mean, exactly like Francis said, it's on the CIA. It was their blood. And I hate to like say that because we're supposed to like root for their side, but now it's like confusing because Francis hates the CIA.
Oh,
the entire point of this entire thing is because he wants to get revenge on the CIA, and we're still trying to figure out for what exactly. But but he's made it very clear that they are not his friends; they are his enemy, and that's who he's trying to get against. So it's just really interesting because they ended up playing a part in shooting one of the parents. Yeah. So that kind of sucks.
That kind of put the icing on the cake for Francis.
Yeah.
He was just like, I didn't even have to do that.
Exactly. That was crazy. No, that's so true. That's exactly true. So it's really, disheartening how that happens. So we move further into where the kids are being held.
Oh yeah, we haven't even touched the surface of the
teenage dream drama.
The teenage drama
of the kids. It's so sad because I was telling her earlier, how could there be any teenage anything going on? I would be scared crap. Like, I wouldn't even know how to feel right now. There's no time for love. Like how are they finding time for love right now?
You're held hostage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's this teenage love affair, love triangle, love square. We don't even know.
I think it's a rhombus. I think it's a rhombus. I'm sure because this episode definitely solidified the rhombus. Like, there's too much going on.
No, okay, so just to catch you guys up, these kids are all locked up together. They're being tortured.
Yeah.
Like, they're being pulled in, beat on. Like, the president's son is being like suffocated, and like Francis is saying all this crazy stuff to him about like, you will do as I say.
Yeah.
Or
that
you will
robotic
not live.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the kids have like this, like, not even great, but they have this love affair dynamic between Ian. Ian's kind of like that friend that you have that's like,
I know.
Oh, you're the great friend, but we can never go any further.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Poor
it's
boy.
like, don't you think about all the college guys? Let's move on. Anyway, I feel like I had Ian once or twice in my life, but anyway, let's move on.
Okay. So Ian is like the friend that is just like has this crush on I think he has a crush on Amber. But Amber is just like, oh, I don't even see you, Ian.
Yeah.
I see this cool teacher.
The teacher. And it's like, and James Lafferty, he's like one of my favorites. Back in the day, he was all on Winter Hill. He had his thing going on. So when I see him on Crisis, I'm like, I'm happy because I feel like he brings drama. But this drama, I don't like. Why are you like, this is far past teacher's pet, and there's
this
some
is teacher.
this is a problem.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a problem.
Because this child looks like she's like 16.
Yeah.
And they're older. It's senior trip. Who cares though? You're like you're young, honey, and this is not okay.
Yeah.
This teacher is like breaking her heart and all of this stuff. Like the teacher, I think Amber ends up finding out the teacher's interested in someone his own age.
And that breaks her. That was so funny. She's like,
okay.
What do you mean? You lied to me. And I'm like, Amber, you're 18.
not a factor.
Like, you're not.
I'm so sorry.
No,
like, you're just getting out of diapers. Like, come on,
I know.
honey.
I feel bad because she's like definitely in a hostage situation. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. So she wants that comfort. Okay, we'll give you that. But
but that's it.
Exactly.
So.
But okay, so there's that triangle. And then there's this Beth Ann girl.
Yes.
And Beth Ann, I kind of am interested to see where her character develops because she's actually the daughter of Francis, this crazy mastermind.
So the mastermind of it all. He's the guy that is running the show. And your daughter is like a part of it. It's crazy.
And you know what? The crazy part about this is he's doing all of this and making it like his daughter is going above and beyond to figure out like what's going on with my daddy and like no, really, what's going on with dad? And is he okay? They cut his finger off. Oh my god! And really, her dad is the one doing all the cutting and the initiation.
And that is what's scary. Like, how is she? I really wonder what it's gonna look like the day she finds out. Like, it's gonna be so bad.
I don't even know how I would react if I found out that I'm doing all of this because this girl. Let's move on from Beth Ann because she's developing. She's gonna be a very intense character. She has like this emo vibe kind of going with. No, really, she has this emo vibe going.
Yeah,
and
the dark clothes and the really dark hair and
the typical teenage drama that's really not true drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Beth Ann actually likes Kyle, which is the president's son. Who wouldn't like the president's son?
I know. He's cute.
Yeah, he is cute.
He's cute. Good job. Yeah.
But they're completely different. I don't know how that's going to work.
I think what I don't like about Beth Ann in this episode and in a lot of them, she's too like quick to judge, especially because she feels like people are judging her, you know?
Oh, yeah.
She feels like she's the bottom of the totem pole, especially with these these kids who are have the most powerful parents.
Yeah, it's just titles.
Yeah, and her dad, to her knowledge, is the bottom. So
yeah, just this punk. This
exactly.
punk we met in the beginning.
Exactly.
Like a shaky type of person.
And so she's not giving Kyle a chance, and that's really bothering me because I'm starting to grow to like him. I feel like he's a genuine guy. He's just, he's saying that like, look, I had problems with my dad. Like, you don't know me. And she's like, no, you're the president's son, so you must be rich and happy and live in like the meadows. And I'm like,
no,
you're
not.
not.
Yeah. Not
so I that's one thing. I'm just like not feeling that about her. But I hope that she can kind of grow to open her eyes.
I think she will. I wish she could grow to open her eyes to the guy next to her because Ian's. But see, okay, I don't think Ian's probably one of the ones that it doesn't have that title. But like, why do we always look over like
the nice guy?
Yeah, the nice guy or the guy next door or the guy besides you, Beth Ann. Like, come on,
literally the friend.
Yeah, the person who's like there for you when you're in hostage. Like Kyle is to himself with his boys talking to whoever, and this guy is worried. Like, are you okay? Like, is everything fine with you?
Yeah.
So why are you not looking at that person? Who's comforting you?
Think about every guy who was like the nice guy who wanted to be with you, and you look for the guy who was totally uninterested. I don't know. It's like
totally opposite
of what you want, of what you need. And so I mean, hopefully she's nothing like every girl we've ever met and turns out to actually care for Ian. But
hopefully,
if not, I'm okay with Kyle too. So,
but wait, guys, at the end of this episode, like we find out she's not only emo, like she's super depressed. This girl is hurting herself.
But it's really sad. Yeah,
it's not a joking matter at all. She's hurting herself.
Yeah.
And when you're in a hostage situation, we don't think about that throughout the episode, but when it's like right at the end, like, oh my gosh, like she's really going through, like, is this, she already didn't seem happy.
She should be going through it the most because she's there with her parent and can't even be like to her knowledge, she doesn't know what he's up to. So you're with your parent and you don't get to be with him. I think that's like,
that'll weigh on you a lot.
Exactly.
You have no idea what's going on with your dad.
Exactly.
I wish she knew because he's horrible. But
that's another story.
Yeah. But another thing with Beth Ann, like, one minute she's really depressed and about to hurt herself, and the next minute she's kissing another guy that we don't even know who he is. Like,
well, wasn't that Kyle though that she was with?
No,
that was Kyle.
Wow, guys, that was Kyle.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was Kyle, because that's why I was so like intense at
interesting.
the end, because we watched the episode together, so we got to get all real, and I had a lot of freak out moments, like y'all.
Oh,
like
heart attack moments.
Yes, I was like, what? So once that happened, I was kind of mad because I didn't like the way they had their first kiss, but I appreciate that she allowed it to happen. So
he came at a time when she needed someone.
Exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
I appreciate that, because you don't want to go through anything like that on
Yeah.
your own, and you're all already in this really hostile environment. So the way it happened wasn't cute, but I think
but the fact that it happened means
and the fact that it
it'll
happened,
be
she's
better.
okay.
Yeah.
He kind of came at a time of like a rescue time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of worked out. So those kids are teenagers.
Yeah, and they just, the teenage dream is very real. The love affairs are really real. There's so much going on, and it's crazy because, like I said, I wouldn't have expected all that. I would have expected more of like Finley and Dunn to get together, or maybe like some other stuff going, maybe some adult stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see the kids.
No,
doing
I
their
didn't think that
thing.
they were gonna do all that, but I mean they are in this show, so you know.
So yeah, I mean,
It makes sense. Let's add a little color everywhere.
right. I mean, why not have everyone going through something?
Exactly.
I think we should touch back on how in this episode, Meg was trying to go through the president's wife, Julia, to make, because, okay, so she has this scene. Let me set it up for you guys. She has a scene, and she's basically with Julia, the president's wife, and she says, hey, look, the FBI is not doing their job the way we think they should, which really upset me because your sister's running the FBI.
Oh, yeah,
but
and it goes back to that control thing. She
Exactly.
can't handle someone else controlling a situation.
So that's a problem. So she's talking to Julia, and she's like, hey, the FBI is not doing what they should be. We should take matters into our own hands. Let me make a call. And I was kind of waiting for whatever the call would be, but it didn't happen in this episode. So next episode, I'm assuming we're going to see something. But
yeah, but I was also kind of frustrated with the first lady. Like, she is definitely falling into that parent puppet where no, I'm serious, they're puppets. Like, she fell into that category when she said, the husband took oath, and we didn't even touch on that. My husband, the president, took this oath that, whatever happens, we're going to serve our country, and we're going to be there for, our civilians and whatnot. But she said, no,
I didn't take an oath.
I didn't take an oath, and I'm going to save my child.
Exactly.
She's
Which, I mean, what would you do in that situation?
I mean, you're right. I probably would feel the exact same way. But it seems like it's becoming too many separations between everyone.
Yeah.
The parents are separated from the FBI, and then the CIA is like separate from the FBI, and then the parents are separated from each other.
No one's working together.
Yeah, and
bottom
again,
line,
the title is you're supposed to help each other.
That's what this is.
That's an ironic title.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The irony in it all. Yeah. Because I'm like, I mean, I think I'm most upset of Meg not trusting her sister. I get it. They have rifts or whatever, but her not trusting her, you're setting up for failure, because her first attempt to save Amber didn't work. If we recap on that and say, remember she, was supposed to give them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
She gave them their money, and they said, hey, get this photo into the FBI. She did it, lied to her sister about it. And I'm just like, look, I feel like if you don't trust her,
if you don't trust me, the person who's supposed to really be investigating this, who cares if I'm your sister? Like, I'm
Exactly.
doing my job.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of this whole thing. We're doing our job for the greater good of these children. And for everyone's personal stuff to be coming in, it's really just their dynamic that's coming in. But for her to let that get in the way of like the greater purpose of getting these kids is kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, why are we dealing with this?
We go right back to control. I mean, she can't handle, and now that her husband's involved, Noah, which he was introduced this episode, I don't know. Like, we don't really know what kind of guy he is yet. No. I can't tell if he is like a, I don't think he's a control freak. He's probably married,
he's probably married.
He's probably more
freak.
submissive because of how she is. Yeah.
Nice balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But just, I don't know, like Susie, or Agent Dunn.
Yes.
Yeah, Agent Dunn is just in a very messed up situation.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I guess I haven't seen like the emotional side where she feels like, oh, I'm doing this for my daughter yet, but it almost feels like
when we see that,
I'm interested to see
that. I wonder what that'll look like. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like she's in this weird position where she's like going from, okay, I just now saw my daughter, to now this is my job, and like now my sister's against me, and like the evidence I'm supposed to be getting needs to come from her. It's just very frustrating to be in the middle of all that chaos. How are you supposed to do your job when the main person is not helping you, is working against you? So I just think, honestly, she's just shady. She is,
and I think, what's really terrible, we just saw that Meg had an affair. You see how they kind of peeked that in the end? That was slick. So her husband, you know, her and her husband are watching this surveillance video or just some videos just to kind of see what leads they can get on their own without FBI help. And Meg has like a freeze moment where she sees a guy that she recognizes, and we don't know who he is until she has a flashback moment, which is a guy she slept with. So she had an affair.
He was CIA.
Yeah.
And so now it's like we're getting these little nuggets of like where this guy is getting all this information from. How he's pulling his army together.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really sad if we slash like, I mean, I don't want to get into predictions yet, but I feel like we're going to find out that he is involved in some kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
Which would make
everyone
Meg,
is involved.
Everyone's a little involved, but I mean, that's pretty, I mean, Meg had a relationship with this person. So now she's going to find out that maybe he was using her, or maybe
she was probably giving him information out of like, you're the person that I'm with
I trust, which is terrible because you were cheating on your husband. But she's she's the shadiest now.
No, she's very
her Francis
shady.
Are the shadiest. Yeah, for sure.
Francis is not even shady. He's just crazy.
Like
I can't. I'm sorry, guys. Please, if someone can cut their thumb off for the greater good of a case, like.
But he'll
do anything.
I think that even though that was crazy, grimy, whatever, it was a really good way for me to believe him. I completely believed him after that. I thought he was an awesome, as an actor, I believed him, and as his character, I was like, wow, like you're gonna go that length.
That's gutsy.
That's good. Like I mean, his whole thumb is gone. So I mean,
and then they ended up using that thumb.
Yeah,
later,
I can't.
which is like, let's piece that stuff to. It's just too much at once.
that was. No.
So I don't know. Like,
leave us a comment about that one, you guys.
Please. But I just feel like everything is.
It's a lot. It's
really a build up.
Yeah.
So episode 4, I think, had really picked up the show Crisis.
Exactly.
Like, it was so slow in the beginning, but now like we're really starting to see like how this thing is going to keep going.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we're like, okay, these kids are kidnapped. This, what's
how is it going to develop?
Exactly.
Was my biggest concern.
But it looks like the pattern that we're seeing with these episodes is that they're going like for each parent. It looks like they're doing it in twos.
Yeah.
Each time they grab a parent and they like, there goes the puppetry.
They grab.
Yeah. No.
You are stuck on that, but it's true, and I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure if like the next episode is going to be president or is it going to be like what parent is next, and that's how we learn more about the kids as we learn about their parents. So like I didn't know how important Aziz was or Sloan was or those kids. They were in and out, but now we know so much more about their parents. So I mean, I don't know, but I feel like we might as well. We're gonna go into predictions now. I mean, we're creeping in.
Yeah.
So.
And now your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't.
Okay, so predictions.
Okay, like, what are you thinking? Because I know
go for it. You started off.
Okay, I personally would really like if Agent Dunn and Agent Finley get together. I'm sorry. I want Lance to have a little love. I don't know.
Let's keep our job and personal life separate.
I don't think it's possible.
No.
I don't think it's possible. No, I really don't. I
don't think they're even showing that just yet. I don't think. You think they're showing?
I don't think you're right. I don't think they're showing it yet, but I think the little nuggets of her like kind of feeling like she has to be aggressive. Like remember when he was like, "Yes, ma'am," and she was like, "No, I don't need ma'am. Move on." Just her little like attacks on him is, I don't know, it'll soften him up, and every time she attacks him, he says something so perfect back that she's going to get soft. I don't know. I mean,
I really think that they're just becoming great partners because okay.
Okay.
No, they're becoming great partners because in the beginning they are so reluctant to even believe this kid, Agent Finley. I mean, yeah, they don't believe him at all. They think he's a part of it, and I think now like they're building that trust. I think that's what we're seeing. Right. I don't know if we're seeing a love affair. Please. Hey,
you don't want
I don't want the love affair.
I think it would be fun. I also think, now this is kind of sad, but I also think that Meg's husband is going to totally find out about her affair, which is going to be, terrible. And I'm not sure when Amber's going to find out, but Amber's going to find out too, and that's going to be...
Amber's going to be a mess. She's already a mess.
I know. That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to handle it. Yeah. Like, now my mom's not my mom. My mom, who I think is my mom, is sleeping with someone else. Like, that's going to be a lot. And then her boo.
And do you think any of the kids will get set free next episode at all?
I think so.
Okay.
Because we really, I mean, we saw 2 get set free this time, but I think, honestly, I think the next episode isn't even going to be the pattern we're seeing. I think they're going to throw us completely off.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll see some more of the dynamic between the First Lady and Mary.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all about, so far I've just been seeing like the theme is like building these relationships.
Right.
So we need to, maybe we'll get to see more of the, what is it? Maybe we'll get to see more of the people who kidnappers.
The kidnappers, yeah.
We'll get to see more of them, because I kind of saw something I didn't like with one of the kidnappers that was coming on the Amber. Like,
yeah, awkward.
Super awkward.
Tell us what you guys think. We're waiting for your predictions. This is our first AfterBuzz show for Crisis, so I'm sure you have so much to talk about, so much to comment about, and so many things to basically say about, you know, who your favorite characters are and what you're thinking. So we'd love for you guys to leave your predictions. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and rate us. I'm Stacy Ike. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at OneTakeStace. And Court, where can they find you?
They can find me at Teznos, T-E-Z-Nose, on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, like, at me. What is it? Call me, beep me, but at me, tweet me. At me, tweet me.
Cute. Love that. Love that. And you can find everything at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and I mean, you got us on social media. We got you. You got us. So make sure you leave all those comments, and we can't wait to see what you got to say.
Yep. Can't wait.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.